everybody. It's 3 p.m. in the West Coast, 6 p.m. on the East Coast. We are Breaking Bread with Nanny Bubby. I'm Nanny Bubby, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are baking. Let me tell you, I am not very much into baking. I never have been. I've kind of not really enjoyed baking all that much, but I had the most amazing experience on Monday, and now all I want to do is bake cookies. So let me tell you all about it. I want to say hello. Let's see if anybody's climbing in to say hello. So let's take a look at that. You know, got a little phone here where I can monitor anybody that is here already. 3 people are here, so let's see who's here. Let's see. Gosh darn, can't get into it. You know, sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. There we go. Okay. Still can't tell who's here, but it says 4 people are, so that's good. My mom is here. Jimmy Carter is here. Jim DeFury is here. All right, everybody. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, I said I was baking. Anybody else that pops in, that will be so good. And they're saying hi back, so I know we're working, which is great. So this is what happened on Monday. I have a very dear friend that I walk with all weekend, every weekend, who lives just one door over from me. And it was her birthday on Monday, and she had to work. She's a cardiologist, so she had to go to the hospital. Something happened with the schedule of the group, and she had to work all day. And we had gone to Giada's together for dinner in December as part of our Christmas gift to each other, which was amazing. And it was the best meal either of us have ever had. We still to this day cannot figure out why it truly was, but it was the best meal we have ever eaten in our lives, truly, honestly. Don't tell my dad, though. And then Giada serves lemon ricotta cookies to all of her guests, and I happen to have that recipe. So I promised her for her birthday I was going to make these lemon ricotta cookies. I didn't think I would because I was traveling back from North Carolina, but I was able to. And so I went over there with a big pan of a dozen lemon ricotta cookies, and I couldn't bring the other dozen in that. I was going to bring them a little bit later, but she said, no, a dozen is enough. It's only me. A dozen is enough. Don't bring any more. So I was stuck with another dozen cookies here at the house. And this is what happened. And this is why all I want to do now is make cookies, because I never connected to the love of this thing, which is I was able to make her happy with a dozen cookies. And then David came over to help me with my equipment. He's a triathlete, so he did not want more than one for himself and one for his wife. So I gave them to him, and he was so thrilled to take them. And then the grandkids came over, and I was able to give them, I think I gave 6 to my daughter's family and the grandchildren. And then my son probably had another 4 by the time, you know, we were counting them. I think he had the very first bites before I even took them next door. But anyway, when everybody was gone and there was not a cookie left in this house on Tuesday afternoon, my husband said to me, well, that love went a long, long way. And I said, you know, you're right. It's amazing. Like, I was able to give love through my love language, which is food, by the way, through cookies, because so many people were able to grab on and enjoy them. So today, I'm making peanut butter cookies for all of you to enjoy, and whoever walks into my life this weekend, I hope will also enjoy them. And I want to show you the book that I'm using. I brought everything here except the book. So Jim says he has to be gluten-free. So Jim, that's really odd that that's true for you, just because I've known you since you ate nothing but bread. But as we get older, we learn these things. I'm not good with alternatives in baking, but they tell me that almond flour is a great substitute. And Susie is here. Hi, Susie. And Jim DeFury said hello as well. So let me show you what book I'm using. Have to step off camera a minute. I love it, by the way, when all of you come. It means a lot to me, so thank you so much. Anyway, this book called 100 Cookies. Let me see if I can get a tight shot of this for you guys. How about that? Can you see that? It says 100 Cookies, and it was given to me by my daughter's sister-in-law, and that would be my grandchildren's aunt, so that makes her and I kind of family as well, and I love her to pieces. And she gave me this book, and this is the recipe, peanut butter cookies. And there are 100 cookies in here, which are so fabulous. And so, hey, Frank Sully's here. Hey, Frank, nice to see you. Boy, you haven't come in so long, I've missed you. Where have you been? Anyway, we're going to start out making cookies directly from this book. So you know I have 2 rules. Number 1, always read through, wait a minute, stand by. Always read through the recipe before you start cooking, because sometimes, you know, you're supposed to combine things that you didn't realize, and, you know, if you don't start and read through it at least once before you start prepping all these different little things that I have here, all the flours, which this is supposed to be just mixed. So this is flour, 2 cups and 3 tablespoons of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, but I always double the salt. So that's just a Nanny Bubby rule there. And then here's the other thing. Here's the one and only thing you cannot do if you get everything ready and then you realize that you didn't take your butter out hours ago and soften it, bring it to room temperature, and that there's no way to soften butter. And butter that is melted is not the same as softened. So really, the minute you decide to bake, just like if it's the night before, because butter keeps room temperature for a very long time, take it out and absolutely get it room temperature, which I did at about 9 o'clock this morning. There's that. Also, now here's one thing. Baking always calls for a room temperature egg, and that I never worry about. So let me just show you in this shot what I do. So you can see that this egg is in water. So I take an ice cold egg and I put hot tap water over the top of it, and the egg brings down the temperature of the water, and the water brings up the temperature of the egg, and before you know it, you actually have room temperature eggs. So if you're ever stuck for a room temperature egg because you're baking, take my little hint. And let's see, Tom says, hi, Nanny Bubby. Hey, Tom. And Frank says, I haven't been getting any notifications telling me that you are here. Well, I don't know. Reset your notifications. I don't know what else to say because I don't know how that works in digital life, but I'm glad you're here today. So here is one of the other things that I wanted to tell you. There's one other key that I wanted to tell you about the butter and the egg and reading through the recipe, and I don't remember what the other thing is, but I'm going to show you the most favorite part of my kitchen now. So if you're ready, let's get started baking. So this is a cabinet right here underneath, right? Do you see me? Yeah, you can see me, right? And when you open up this cabinet, see that? That's the mixer. And pardon me because I don't want to get my butt on camera because there's nothing pretty about that. And then this, if you can see, just pops. Oh, is that up? There we go. I heard it click. Don't want that to come crashing down, right? And there it is. And so let me lift this up, and you can see the mixer right there. And I'm going to pull this up higher right now. There we go. And this is where we're going to start baking. So isn't that fabulous? That was, hey, Georgia, I hope you saw me and that pop-up mixer. So happy that you're here. We're baking peanut butter cookies today. So this is where I keep my mixer right here. And we're going to be able to use this camera actually right down into the mixer so that you can see it. Let's see how I can do that. There we go. Okay, well, we'll get it there. I think I need to turn it like that, maybe, and that way you can see it. But we'll work on it in just a minute. So, okay, let me hook this up and get everything out of the mixer. Whoop! So while I am doing this, I just want to share with you that the very first thing, I just remember what it was that I wanted to share with you. The very first thing that this recipe called for is for you to make candied nuts. And so what I want to do is talk you through this video, which is 2 minutes and 18 seconds long, and I'm a bad editor, so I apologize up front. But I do want to share the video with you, and we'll just talk and chat and do whatever we need to do. But this is me setting the oven for 375 degrees. And then this is taking the tray and literally putting a silicone liner in it, because if you're going to use nuts and hot maple syrup, you really want it to be on a silicone mat, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. There we're cutting the peanuts, and we're going to combine the peanuts with pecans for this recipe. So there's the pecans, throwing the peanuts into the, and now I'm putting on gloves because nothing feels worse to me than maple syrup all over my hands with sticky nuts all to it. And there's the organic maple syrup. We're going to take that maple syrup and we are going to, that's it, just right there, putting that all over everything. And now we're going to mix it. I love that I can show these videos. It's just absolutely unbelievable. I love that. And so I'm not the best editor. I did this in like 10 minutes. I can't believe it. So spread it out thinly in one layer, all of the nuts. And then you're going to take that and you're going to put it into the oven. Hopefully that shot's coming up soon. So let's put that. Come on, Marla, let's go. Oh, I decided to put more maple syrup in it. And you may have to. You know, you want to give it a really, really good coat. You really want it to give a good coat. Oh my God, already in love with this recipe. Who doesn't like candied nuts in a cookie? That's correct, Georgia. Thank you for that. Yummy, yummy. That is true. So, okay, at some point I put this in the oven. There we go. So now we're putting it in the oven. And it's going to bake. Now, here's the key. You're going to say, hey, Judy Woods, there you are. How are you, Judy? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming again today. So this is the thing that I want to say is that I don't ever set the timer, but what I do is I wait until I smell it. And the minute you can smell those nuts roasting, that's the time to take it out of the oven. So that's it. Whoop. How do I get that off? There we go. All right, there we are. How do you like that? So there we go. Brenda Berman is here. Hey, Brenda, nice to see you. And Lisa Sitko is here. So many people are here. We're making peanut butter cookies because on Monday I had an experience of making cookies for people I love and care about. And I could not believe how many people I could just show love to through cookies because they go so far. So today I wanted to make cookies. So if you're ready, we're going to go through this recipe. The very first thing that I'm going to do is I got an offset spatula. And this butter, again, if you are going to bake, you absolutely need to take the butter and get it room temperature. So that's the first thing we're going to do now is get this into the mixer. Okay. And it's 2 sticks of butter, by the way. Boy, I don't want to go, let's see. So in a medium bowl, whisk together the flour, baking soda, and salt. I've already done that. Remember, you always read. In a medium bowl, whisk together. I said that. In a bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a paddle, beat the butter on medium speed until creamy, about 1 minute, and then add the brown granulated sugars and the regular sugars, and beat on medium speed until light and fluffy. And that's always the key. And I do have, there is a terracotta disc that you can buy by OXO that I keep in the bottom of my keeper, the bottom of my brown sugar keeper. And if you really immerse that in water and keep it wet, then you will find that your brown sugar will never get dried out. So there's that. So let's lower the mixer, or raise the mixer. There we go. And let's turn it on. Okay, and what's really cool about this is I'm going to show you this right now. See if I can do that. You see that in there? So I know it's you know, video that is, you know, all vertical, but there you go. You're seeing the inside. I think that's so cool. And now, here we go. There we go. That's awesome. Oh my God, that's so awesome. And now in goes the granulated sugar. That's so cool. I'm so excited that you're able to see that. And let's go, baby. Let's get in there. Here comes the brown sugar. And I will say that that is the problem with the brown sugar, is that it's been out in the air and it got hard again, and that's just not good. So I'm going to turn up the speed so I can crack it. Okay, there we go. All right, so I think I've done a good job there. I have no idea. I hope it looked okay. Anybody else have comments? No, nobody has any comments? Okay, what do you think of that shot, everybody? I think that's kind of cool, seeing in the inside of a mixer. Okay, so this is the Nanny Bubby spatula. If anybody is interested in our Nanny Bubby spatulas, you can find them on nannybubby.com. And I am going, and also in the shop, in the Instagram shop, I am going to show you this. I wanted to tell you the thing that I love about this, and of course I would never offer a product that I wasn't in love with myself, but this is curved, and the entire spatula is silicone, which means that you can put this whole thing in the dishwasher, which you can't with a wooden spatula. And the curvature of this is just really, really awesome. So I always love to tell everybody these are the best spatulas I've ever worked with. And if you want one, you can go to my Instagram shop. You can find them there on the website. Okay, and now the brown sugar obviously stopped being hard, so that's a good sign. And now the next thing we're going to do is this. This is a lot. Okay, add the peanut butter and beat on medium speed until fully combined. Then we're going to add the egg, and then we're going to add Nanny Bubby vanilla, which I really love. So we're going to talk about the vanilla in just a minute. Let me show you this. How about that? This vanilla I make on my own, and I made this with bourbon and vanilla bean pods. So vanilla beans. The bean pods, I guess is what they're called. So anyway, that's so fun. I love the idea that I do that, and it tastes so good. So, all right, here we go with the peanut butter, and using this spatula, and also because this spatula is silicone, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not having an issue with the peanut butter sticking to it. It's coming right out. So that's a good sign, right? There we go. I wish I had a cameraman here because it would be so easy. Oh, well, don't you know I got peanut butter in the book. Okay, let's get that out. Okay, you're going to have to excuse me while I get something. Hold on. You know, I try to remember everything I can possibly remember before I come to see you guys, but every once in a while, like forgetting a rag in case I spilled something over this beautiful book, but it means I've used it, so that's a good thing. And then the next thing is we're going to add the egg. So I'm going to dry off the outside of the egg. I'm going to put it on a very low speed and combine the peanut butter now, which is happening. It's quite beautiful, actually. Maybe I'll come over and show you again. Let's see if I can see how that looks. Yep, that looks good. Here we go. Okay, and now egg. Tell me how that shot looks. Angel Gomez is here. Hey, Angel. Yes, I do the same thing. Okay, to Frank with the terracotta disc. Okay, and now we're just going to simply add the flour mixture and beat on low speed as we go. So there we go. Actually, I just recalled that I forgot to put the Melissa's bug up today. So I don't usually do that. I mean, I always remember to do that. So fabulous, looks good. Oh, thanks, Jimmy, you're still here. That's great, Susie. Thank you so much. Okay, just checking. You have to tell me if something, like sometimes my audio hasn't been working. Occasionally that happens, and I love that you guys always tell me audio isn't working, which is so frustrating. But today it seems like it's going beautiful. So I am so excited. All right, So this is where we get, Jennifer Tuttle is here. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? So nice to see you. We're baking peanut butter cookies because on Monday I had this experience where I gave out cookies to so many people and it really was spreading the love. And Tom said to me, that's my husband for those of you that don't know, wow, you sure gave a lot of people enjoyment with those cookies. You sure shared the love. And then I realized that is what happened, and now I want to make more. So I don't know who I'm giving these to, but whoever wants them can have them. So if you're ready, we're going to switch off the camera here again, and we're going to start the mixer and put in the flour. There we go. Can you see it? Not sure how loud that audio is, but here we go. Okay. Off we go. That is looking so good. Okay, so now is the great thing. I'm going to show you exactly why. Oh, I needed to put in the vanilla. So let's put in the vanilla. So see, this is why. Hey, Lisa. Nice to see you. How are you? So Georgia, if you're still watching, I want you to say hello to Lisa, who just started watching. And Georgia, Lisa is my best friend who turned me on to the song For Good. And that resonates with Georgia, and it resonates with Lisa. So I want the two of you to say hello to each other. Because now Georgia is at Change for Good because she heard that song. Yes. Hi, she says. Russell put in his order for 2 of these wonderful cookies. All right, Russell, I have you in mind always. Even if you can't eat them today, you will always. So those of you that don't know, my wonderful son, my smart, intelligent, handsome son. Hi, Lisa, she says. That's great. That's awesome. Okay, here is the homemade Nanny Bubby. Let me show that. The Nanny Bubby vanilla. I made this myself. Now, for those of you that don't know, I never cooked. I was never domestic. I've always been a businesswoman. And the fact that I do all of this now actually makes me laugh to myself. And for those of you that know me, you probably laugh too. So anyway, there you go. All right, here is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. I think that's the, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm glad I checked. There we go. And now, just for good luck, and Tom Bubby, Grandpa Bubby wants some too. He wants 3. Okay, there we go. Yes, Lisa, it had us all crying over the weekend. Okay, there we go, everybody. So now, let's get a tight shot of, let's see if I can move over just a little bit because I do really want to show you this. Let's get this out of the way. I mean, I have to change cameras, cook, talk, and clean up all while we're live on the air. It cracks me up. I used to have a 4-camera show when I was broadcasting, and now I still have a 4-camera show, but no cameraman or floor director. Okay, so these are, let me change here. These are, as you saw, if you were here when I ran the video, this is a silicone mat. I coated all of these. You put them in the oven. You let them you don't take them out until you smell them. You can see that the back of them is like a hard candy, right? It's almost like peanut brittle is what happens. If you can see that, that's the back side of it. Okay, and now we're just going to take this and we are just going to crumble it. And I'm going to have to read. Now, this is optional for the cookie, but I really just could not help myself but to make them. Now, this recipe called for these to be candied in a way in which you put them with butter and then vanilla, and you put all of that. Susie, I will send you some. Your birthday's coming up, Susie, on Monday, I remember, so I wish I could send them to you in time, but I can't, but maybe I will anyway. Okay, so, and that was too complicated for me, and I did not want to do that, and I make candied pecans for my kale salad, and everybody loves them. And I make it exactly as you saw with the maple syrup in the oven, taking it out when you smell them, and then taking these pecans and crumbling them up. And I thought, you know, I'm going to do that instead because I know it works. I trust my process. I trust myself. I trust my intuition. And I'm going to share an easier way than what this recipe book suggested. And you know what? It worked. Thank you. I know sometimes I've been afraid to do that. It's like I have to follow it. But I have enough experience in the kitchen in recent years that I'm trusting my instincts. And anyways, if it doesn't work, if you make a mistake, then you learn something very beneficial not to do it that way. So this says put in 1/4 cup. So 1/4 cup basically would be 2 of these. So this is 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put that in. And you know what? Ooh, well, and there's another whole scoop on the floor. There's that mistake, but who cares? I'm just going to put 1 more in, okay? Just because I think it would be better. Candied pecans and candied peanuts, of which I've never done. Okay, let me get these pecans out of my way on the floor. And now I'm just going to turn this on and mix them. I'll let you see it. So cool that you can see it. It makes me so happy. I know Lisa. Lisa loves my kale salad, and in all transparency, she turned up her nose the first time I was going to serve it and said, oh no, I don't like kale. And I said, don't turn up your nose. You're going to love it. And she did. Okay, there we go. So I think I've always heard that you don't want to mix something too much because you get the gluten going and it's just not good. So I'm going to take this out and we're going to put them on the cookie sheets and we're going to start baking them. So if I know, I think I have to take this off first. Oh, I have to lower it. Hold on. Ha. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. So here are the cookies. Let me show them to you. There's the dough. You guys see that? That looks so good, doesn't it? Look at that. Oh my gosh. And the cookies are literally, or not the cookies, but the nuts are mixed so evenly in here. I mean, I'm looking at it, and look how nice and dark and beautiful that dough is. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, everybody, let's see how this works. I'm going to set this over here. We're going to take this over here. And Lisa, you'll have to tell me if you're coming here tomorrow night or if where it is we're actually going, because if you come here, you can get some peanut butter. Whoa! Sorry about that. I just lost my phone. And I'm not sure how that happened. Actually, it shouldn't have happened. Yes, I love cookie dough too, but this has a real egg in it. And I don't know why they say that's dangerous. But so one thing that it says to do with these, which I'm going to have to step away for just a minute, is to take a fork. For those of you that have made peanut butter cookies before, you know that there's that crisscross with a fork, right? But this recipe says to do the crisscross, but don't push down too hard. Just let the dough go down on its own, but just make the marks on it. Anybody have feedback on that? Anybody have feedback on how you would do it? Anybody that bakes? Judy, Georgia, Lisa. Lisa's a good baker. She likes to bake, not cook as much. I think she likes baking more. So anybody with feedback on that one? Let's see. There we go. You seen this? Yep. I'm waiting for answers, guys. There we go. So I want to stop just a minute. I actually want to promote something. So next Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. That's how I count time. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We are doing an interview, we being a wonderful, intelligent, thought-provoking woman whose name is Mary Miel, she was with me in North Carolina. We were on this retreat, and we went for a hike, and she was so thought-provoking in questions to me about the long life era. And when we were done, and I was worn out, both from hiking and from her questions, because I really had to stop and think, later on that day or sometime that night, or I'm not even sure when it happened, she said, Marla, we should do an interview. And because a lot of her questions are her wanting to prepare herself emotionally for the day she's 47. And, it's 8 years away, which, as we all know, is a blink of an eye. And so we are having a conversation. I posted it in the Long Life Era. I'll post it here on Nanny, Bubby, and share it to my own page here if I can share off a different page, which I'm never really sure what I can do. But we are doing that interview live on the Long Life Era Facebook page group, Long Life Era Community Facebook group page. It's a mouthful. I'd love to have all of you join us, and we'll take your questions live on the air and try to answer them, and I think it's going to be great. I really do. So I'm going to switch cameras and let you look at that while I go get a fork. Judy, I think you said you need to dip your fork in something, so I'm going to look really quick and see what you said. Here we go. Okay, what did Judy say? Judy says, I always had to dip fork in a bit of flour when making crisscross so fork doesn't stick to the dough. Let's see if it says to do that. Because it said for 3 tablespoons. Let's see, 8 cookies on each sheet pan. I have more than 8. I have 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, I have 12. But you don't want them to flatten too much. Bake 1 pan at a time, rotating halfway through. It doesn't say to do that. And this dough, hey, Lene. Lene says in sugar. Well, or dip it in sugar. Yeah, I see that. Okay, well, I'm going to try it. Let's see. You guys want to watch? Jennifer, wish I'd had this conversation when I was 47. Oh, that's great, Jennifer. That's really great that you said that. Okay, let's see. I'm doing this. No, it's not sticking at all. There we go. How's that look? Can you see this? Are we on the tight shot? We sure are. Okay. Because of all the oil prob. I don't know. Whoop, brought it up, but it's just not sticking, which is great. And these look so nice and meaty. You know, they're not thin. They're just like little round, hefty discs. This is so good. Oh my God. Do you know how many people I'm going to be able to love on with this? And you can too. I mean, really, I invite you to make cookies this weekend. And here, I'm going to put them back together. Okay. My mom always did it that way, so I continued with the flour. Yeah, I know. And I'll tell you, do you remember me telling the story about the brisket? I'm going to stop 1 minute. I'm going to tell you this story. So there was a woman, and this is, kind of a Yiddish story, so I have to add the Yiddish accent, but you all get it. So she was taught to cut off the end of the brisket and put it into the pot with the brisket and cook it that way. And so one day, her daughter, which would have been about the 4th generation, said to her mom, Mom, why do you cut off the edge of the brisket before you put it in the pan and then put the end of the brisket in the pan? And she said, I don't know. That's the way my mother did it, so I did it too. And then so they said, well, we got to ask Grandma why she did that. And so they went to her mom, the grandmother of the little girl, and said, hey, Mom, why did you always cut off the end of the brisket to put it into the pan with the other brisket? And she says, I'm not sure why, but I always learned to cook with my mother. There was a lot of intergenerational cooking in those days, not like there is today. But she said, I always used to cook with my mother, and my mother did it that way. Well, great-grandma was still alive. So they said, well, we need to ask her why she did that. So they go to great grandma and they say, Ma, why did you always cut off the end of the brisket before you put it into the oven? And she said, because it didn't fit in the pot. Isn't that hilarious? And so that just continued on as a tradition, and nobody knew why. And in today's day and age, we can buy pots any size and a whole brisket will fit, right? But in those days, that was not the case. So they used to cut off the end of the brisket and put it in the oven and put it in the pot. And I think that it's those traditions that, you know, I do it because my mother did it that way. I do it because when I do it the way my mother did or the way my grandmother did, it makes me feel her soul in the room. It's like calling her down as you do these things that you used to do with her. So for, yeah, I guess I told that story before, but for Judy, who really is so connected to her ancestors, her mother, her grandmother, her husband that she lost. I mean, when she feels that her mother did it that way and she can feel and watch and literally see her mother's hands in that story as she types on Facebook, my mother did it that way. I mean, she's literally connecting to her mother in that moment and bringing her forward. And now probably Judy is crying. But I just think it is beautiful. So I really do hope that my grandchildren, when they smell an aroma that they remember from my kitchen, or I tell them how to make something, that when they think of me because of the aroma or because of a technique, that it calls me back to them. So anyway, that's just about all I have to say about that. Love it when I do it the way my mom did something. It brings her back to, see, I just said that, Judy. Isn't that crazy? Oh, I missed a cookie in that story, so let's get that cookie. Okay. And your mom might have used oil instead of butter. I don't know. And there's also a lot of air conditioning, so it's not. This is the disc. I want to show you this disc. So this is the terracotta disc. It's supposed to fit into the top of the OXO container, but this one actually doesn't fit. I've tried. And then I just take this disc and drop it into the container, put the brown sugar in there with it, and it is always soft and ready to go. So that's it, everybody. Did you have a good time today on Friday? I did. This is going into the oven at 350 for how long? They keep for up to 3 days for 9 to 10 minutes. So I will cut a timer set a timer because I always go out of the room and I completely forget about it. So we're not going to have that happen. Set the timer. In fact, I love this timer. And you've always heard me say it, right, guys? Is, here, let me. So when it comes back, I go. Oh my God, when does this stop? Come on. Oh my God, it's never gone that long. Okay, and I always say school's out, and in this case, Nanny Bubby's show is out. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's all say it together like we always do. 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. I'm so happy to be here again. I hope you like the kitchen. I hope you like my pop-up mixer. I hope you love the show, and I love you. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Let's see if I can get the clothes to work. It's great when things work. Makes me so happy. Ah, there you go.